Oh, hello, welcome to the Battle in Barrow, a special spooky video as it's Halloween. Today we are going to be looking at a game book. If you've watched the channel for any quantity of time, you know I like game books such as fighting fantasy, and I enjoy the occasional solo game, and that's where I really enjoy a good game book. I was thinking about what to do for a Halloween video. I wanted to do a game book, and I was thinking about fighting fantasy when a representative of an author contacted me and said, would I mind having a look at a book? So I said yes, expecting to get a PDF. But I got sent a physical book, which is great for us because it means we can got something tangible to look at. And so today we are going to be looking at The Ghosts of Craven Manor. It's a ghostly time-travelling game book by Joseph Daniels. So yeah, we are going to be having a look at this. So in a minute we're going to get some lights on, take a look at the book, and then come back and I'll sort of talk about what my thoughts are for it. So just want to full disclosure, I was asked to have a look at this. I wasn't asked to say anything in particular about it. I didn't have to do the video if I didn't want to. And no money has changed hands, so I'd want to get that out of the way to be fully transparent. So, I didn't like it, I can say I don't like it, but I do like it, sure. So yeah, let's get some lights on and let's take a look at the book. Here is the book, as you would expect, it's a paperback. It's got this suitably creepy artwork, I guess. Doll's creepy, right? Obviously depicting a manor shelf. Does the doll play a part in the book? I don't know. So the book says this book is an interactive novel which takes you on a ghostly time-travelling adventure with many paths and puzzles that you must solve to reach one of the multiple thrilling endings. You are Dave Ingram. When you and your fiancée are given a chance to move into Craven Manor, you think that you've just been given the deal of a lifetime. That is until you discover the house is haunted. When your fiancé is possessed by one of the spirits inhabiting the house, you learn that the only way to free her is with the aid of a time-travelling amulet. In an attempt to remove the ghost from the house, you must travel through time and learn the truth about what happened there. So you can either fight the threat in the present or possibly attempt to prevent it in the past. The choice is yours. Yes. And here we have other titles by Joseph Daniels. We have the Legacy of Craven Manor, the Ingram Chronicles Volume 1 and Volume 2, and Grim Dickinson. So I wonder if that's like a Grim Charles Dickinson. I might have a look at a few more books after this. I believe this is, yeah, it's an Amazon, so you get it from Amazon and it is actually printed on Amazon. So it is glue bound, which standard for paperbacks. The paper is though thicker than and nicer quality than in something like Drive Through RPG, not besmirching them of course, but because they're quite upfront about it. Normally if you do a print on demand, it's like on inkjet paper. This feels more like proper book paper. It's like the high quality premium Drive Through on demand, print on demand quality, rather than proper inkjet paper or proper, you know, normal inkjet paper. So it's a nice quality. We turn the page, bit of information here in the United Kingdom, and we're pretty much, after a Dear Reader, going straight into it. It gives you a quick idea over what to expect. You're not going to read it like a normal book. Here's a choose your own adventure, so it's split up into numbered passages. So we do have the rules at the end, but these act more as a sort of look up. You can read these of course first, but this book does a very interesting thing with its rules, and this is where it gets a bit difficult to do a straight up review of this. You know, I can explain the rules and how they work, but sometimes I feel it best to show by example. I can tell you about the plot, but then that's risking giving spoilers away, and really this is something you should experience for yourselves, really. So how do you review a solo game book without giving too much away, but you still want to give something away to entice you, the viewer, to check it out? How do I go over the rules without just reading the rules very dryly? I think the best thing we can do, because this book, as I said, does something very clever, and we can experience that if we have a little playthrough, a little read through of the book. And I'll get to a certain point. I've played through it, I know. I'm going to get to where we get, you know, pretty much it has what I consider a tutorial section, like in a video game. And once we get to the point where we leave that, I shall stop there. But if we do want to see more of it on the channel, just let me know. We can carry on playing it. Maybe I can get to certain points and we can have a poll and see which direction to take or what to do, or I don't know. That's something for future me to think about. But what we can do is play through it, and I will apologise up front. My read out loud skills are lacking because I wear very focal glasses where I can't really see sometimes, and sometimes I misread a word, stumble over myself, and then have to restart the sentence. So this could be an unmitigated disaster, but I feel it's going to be a great way to show you how good this book is. So let's have a read through. So I need you to sign there, and you're done. Here are your keys. I hope you'll both be happy in your new home. No sooner had the estate agent left the cafe than you turned to your fiancée and share a look of excitement before embracing her with a passionate kiss. "Oh Dave, this is so great," she says. "Our own house." "I know," you say. "And what a bargain." "Well, the agent did say that the last owners died there. That kind of thing generally brings down the price. I think we both should ask for some details about that." "Why, Liz?" "So we could scare ourselves into not buying the place. What we don't know won't hurt us." "I suppose you're right," she says. "Anyway, I need the toilet. Be back in a bit." After Liz has left, you are considering ordering something else to eat when your thoughts are interrupted by the sound of crying. You turn to see a little boy has dropped his ice cream on the floor. To this you snigger, and then you quickly turn your face away from the boy's mother before she sees. It's not that you really care what people think, but you can never tell how they are going to react, especially stressed mothers. Even something as simple as a snigger could cause a scene, and given the great day you're already having, you don't want to ruin it. Looking towards the menu again, you are interrupted for a second time, this time by a young waitress who is being harassed by a couple of drunks. There really should be a law about people drinking in the day, you think to yourself. Although it wouldn't matter if there was, people would still do it, and you bet the police wouldn't even bat an eyelid if they saw them. You consider for a moment coming to the young girl's aid and then stop yourself. Probably only make matters worse, and besides, part of the job she chose. It's not long after this that Liz returns and sits down. "What time have you got?" you ask. Liz looks at her watch. 2:30. And what time's the removal man meant to be showing up at the house? About 4ish. Then we're going to have a bit of time to kill. What do you say to getting out there soon and having a look around town? "I suppose so," she says. "I noticed a jewellery shop in the way in." I was actually more interested in the bookshop next to it," you say. "Well, we're probably only going to have time to look in one. Which one should we go to?" And here's our first choice. Now, you may tell already that Dave is a bit self-absorbed, so I'm going to roleplay the game in that way, in the way I guess his character's meant to come across. So we can choose to go to the bookshop, Dave's choice, or the jewellery shop, which is Liz's choice. So the bookshop is 44. And so far, this is paragraph 1, there is no time jumping abilities, and as we turn to 44, there isn't one here either. So we are in the bookshop. The bookshop is so crammed with books on shelves and in piles on the floor that there is barely room to walk around. while Liz moves off into a corner of the shop to look at books and art and textiles, you are approached by the owner. A small bent over mould of a man with big glasses. New in town, he asks? Yeah, my finance and I just bought a house here, the old mansion on Blakemute Moor Road. You mean Craven Manor? Yeah, that's right. We're moving in today. We're both actually very... You should leave now while you still have a chance. What? You say? Surprised by the sudden change in his tone. That house is a place of unspeakable evil. Everyone who has lived there has either died or gone missing. Ah, so it's a haunted house. Boy, I really did get a good deal. Ghosts free of charge, you chuckle. Suddenly the man grabs your arm. It is no laughing matter. You should heed my warning. You might not have another chance. Hey, alright, I get it, you say, humouring the man. The house is haunted, and we're all gonna die. I'll heed your warning, and then under your breath, you mentalist. Now, feeling uncomfortable in here, you join Liz and then leave the shop. Turn to 176. So far, so straight. It's a choose your own adventure book. Upon leaving the shop, you get back in the car and drive to your new home. It doesn't take very long to get there. You see a childlike look of joy on Liz's face as you drive up to the porch. Craven Manor looms over you like some home of an eccentric millionaire. You still ask yourself how you could be so lucky to own a place like this. And as you open the door into the main hallway, the first surprise you find is the furniture belonging to the previous occupants is still there. I thought you said they were coming to make sure this place was completely gutted, says Liz, looking around, right before she walks into a cobweb, and cleaned. I'll give them a call, you say, frustrated. You were about to do so when your phone begins to ring. That'll probably be them now, you say, but it isn't. Hello? Is that Mr. Ingram? David Ingram? Yes. Who is this, please, you ask? This is Jimmy's Removals. I'm sorry, Mr. Ingram. We've run into some difficulty on the road. I'm afraid we won't be able to get your furniture to you until at least tomorrow. Upon hearing this, first of all you are shocked and dismayed. But then, given the current situation, you realise this is probably for the best. If the removal van had shown up on time, you would have only been able to unload everything onto the porch while you waited for the estate agent to come and remove the furniture from the house. So we won't be able to sleep in our own bed, Liz says despondently upon hearing the news. It's just for one night. You should probably be thankful we've even got a bed to sleep in. Yeah, probably the murderer's bed. Look, if it makes you feel better, we can sleep on the floor. No, I think I can deal with a murderer's bed for one night. Lizzie needs her beauty sleep. So arrives your first night at the new home. You make a call to the estate agent to find out, just as expected, that they intend to come over and clear out the furniture tomorrow. Then after eating some of the food you brought with you in your car, you head up to bed with Liz and collapse on the master bedroom's queen-size 4-poster bed. Sleep takes you and you drift for what seems like an eternity until you're awoken by a loud ruckus. You sit up and find that your fiancée is not beside you. Liz, you shout as you leap to your feet and walk out into the corridor. You suspect that she may have gone into the toilet and wandered down to the nearest bathroom. You have just opened the door and you catch sight of someone standing behind you. You quickly turn round to see a dark, transparent figure standing there. At first sight, it looks like a man in a long coat wearing a top hat. You're about to react to the apparition when they suddenly leap towards you and you feel them merging with you. As the merge occurs, your vision blurs and you find your surroundings suddenly changing around you. You are in the same house, but it looks more new and pristine and very different furniture. Perhaps you are still dreaming, you think to yourself as you glide down the corridor. You then return to the room you were previously sleeping in to find, much to your surprise, 2 people sleeping there. You want to say something to them, but nothing comes out. In fact, you are not in control of your body. You look to your hand and see you're holding a knife, and then to your horror, You find yourself raising the blade up and bringing it down into each of the couples in turn. You want to scream, but again nothing comes out as you repeatedly hack the two people until they are nothing more than bleeding corpses. It is in that moment your surroundings change again and you find yourself back in the house you left, standing over your fiancée, the bloody knife still in your hand, her pale, lifeless eyes staring back at you. Then the full horror of the situation hits you. The whole slaughter of the couple may have been a dream, but this definitely isn't. Somehow in your sleep you have gone and murdered the only person you ever loved. Oh no, what have I done? You say to yourself. And then you see a ghostly young woman in a Victorian clothing approaching you. And here I'm going to have to just show you the text again. She says, as she touches your face, you feel a jolt of energy surge through your body. You hear a rushing sound in your ears. Then moments later, you found yourself back in a familiar place. Turn to 427. So that is sort of the intro to the story. We're going to play a bit more, but to me, that really gripped me. It's got the time traveling aspect in there. It's got an interesting narrative. How am I going to get out of this? How is Dave going to get out of this? So let's turn to 427 and play a bit more, because we've got to get to the rules section at least, I feel. So I just need you to sign there, and you're done. Here are your keys. I hope you'll both be happy in your new home. For a moment you were completely flummoxed. You were back at the cafe at the very point in time where you received the keys from the agent. Is this real? Or are you dreaming? If it is real, did all the other stuff in the house never happen? Oh Dave, this is so great, Liz says after the agent has left. Our own house. So relieved to see her alive, you instinctively reach over and embrace her. Oh Dave, this is so great, Liz says as the agent has left. Our own house. So relieved to see her alive, you instinctively reach over and embrace her with an urgency she is not used to. Okay, I'm happy too, she gasps. We're struggling to breathe here. Sorry, you say as you release her. I know you were happy about the house, but a simple kiss would have sufficed. Actually, I'm not completely happy about the house, you say, remembering what's transpired there. What do you mean? He says, confused. Well, I've been thinking about the whole last owners died there thing. And to be honest, that kind of creeps me out a little. That's funny. I was thinking about the same thing. I was going to tell you. But I thought you'd tell me I was just being stupid. Normally, I would. But look, hold that thought. I'll be back in a bit. I need to use the toilet. And then she leaves. With everything that has happened in a similar fashion to how it did before, you begin to wonder what you experienced previously may have actually happened, and that somehow you have travelled back to prevent it from happening again. Little do you know that is actually true, and further, that you actually have the power to over these abilities. If this is your first time reading, turn to 352. Otherwise, continue on. Let's turn to 352. It's what we're playing through here is what I call the tutorial section of the game. It gets you used to the rules, but it has this nifty thing where when we looked at the book, you notice the rules are at the back. They're more for reference, because what this does now when we turn to 352 is these will go over the rules and give us a little example to play through. So let's do this now, and I'll try and go through the rules as briefly as possible, but give you as much information as possible as well. If you want to know the full rules, obviously they're in the game book. So we have 2 statistics for our adventure sheet, which are printed off here. We have TTP, time travel points, and future knowledge. So how to use TTP. This allows you to travel back in time. You begin with 10, you use 2 each time you travel back to a single passage. Note that the number of the previous passage is bracketed under the number of the passage you are reading at this time. Sometimes there are multiple ways you have reached the passage. There will be multiple numbers. The bracketed number has times 2, times 3, times 4 next to it. It means the closest point is further back then and will require more TTP to use. So if it's times 2, it's going to be 2 times 2, which is 4 TTP. If it's times 3, it's 2 times 3, which is 6 TTP. We can slow time with TTP. This is where in situations we need to react quickly, we can add 2 points to the roll. So we're going to be using dice. And that's TTP in a nutshell. There's a bit more to it than that, but you can read the book to find out. Future knowledge, whilst, and this is quite another nifty thing. So back in the day with Fighting Fantasy books and other game books, there used to be something known as the 5-finger bookmark. This is where you'd get the book and when you're turning passages, you'd stick your fingers into the page where the passages are so you could quickly go back in time. Now what this has is it effectively has that aspect, that rule that we all used to do back in the day, baked into the rules, and that's really clever. So that's something I really like about this book. I just found it fun, a fun rule. But it takes it a step further, in fact, with future knowledge. If you're going back in time, why not bake future knowledge into it? And that's what the next rule is. So whilst progressing through the adventure, you will see references regarding something called future knowledge. Future knowledge is something you've learned that can be open up new paths in the past and present. You gain future knowledge, you must write it down. It appears as such: FKA plus 23. FK stands for future knowledge, the letter is reference, and the number is what you must add or subtract. So you can get FKA minus 23, for example, but in this case plus 23, so we add that to the passage we're on to gain some future knowledge. Multiple part future knowledge, sometimes we're going to need to find 2 points. It would be FKZ8 part 1 of 2 plus 12, and we'd need the second part of that, FKZ8 part 2 of 2 plus 6, for instance, and we'd add the 12 and the 6 to the passage we're on to get to future knowledge. Turn to 427. And here's another clever bit, because now you can use that rules and play it, or there's an example here which is laid out sequentially, even though it's got passage numbers that sort of appear to jump around. It's actually laid out sequentially, so we'll play through that quickly to give you an idea of the rules before we carry on. 712. You are fighting a man with the knife. You feel a shiver come over you. You can use future knowledge Z9 or turn to 653. At this point you do not have future knowledge Z9 on your list, so you have no other choice but turn to 653. 653 in brackets 712 times 3. A man sneaks up on you and hits you from behind with a baseball bat. FK Z9 plus 23. Moments later you wake up on the floor. Firstly, write down FK Z9 plus 23. This is your future knowledge reference. You can guess in this instance that the future knowledge is that a man will sneak up to you with a baseball bat, and that what the future knowledge is not always clear. It is up to you to figure that out. Because you don't want your character to be surprised with a man with a baseball bat, you decide to reverse time to the previous passage, which is 712, as shown in the brackets underneath. Now usually it would cost you 2 time travel points to travel back in time to a single paragraph, but because the bracket number shows times 3, because time has passed while you were unconscious, that means you must multiply that number by 3 and therefore use 6 time travel points to travel back. Currently you have 10, you decide to use 6, mark it down on your sheet, it brings it down to 4, and you can bring you back to the previous passage 712. 712. Whilst you are fighting the man with the knife, you feel a shiver come over you. You can use future knowledge Z9 or turn to 653. Obviously if you turn to 653 you will end up being snuck up again with the man with the baseball bat. When you first came here, it was your only option because you didn't know what was going to happen. Now you have something that you didn't know. Now you know something you didn't know before. You can use future knowledge Z9. Anyways, I'm using Z instead of Z. Gone American. You use it for knowledge Z9. To use this knowledge, FK Z9 plus 23, you must add 23 to the number of the passage you are currently on. So it's 712 plus 23 is 735. So we turn to 735. Knowing there is someone sneaking up from behind you, duck. This causes your attacker with the bat to miss you and hit the man with the knife instead, knocking him out cold. As you can see, by having future knowledge that the man is going to surprise you with the bat, you are able to reverse time and prevent it. Now you can turn to 427. So turning to 427, we are back on the passage where we are sort of back in the cafe. So I'll miss out on the beginning bit we've just read and carry on with, you wouldn't normally believe in stuff like that, but you really can't think of any other way to explain it. Although if it were true, it would mean that the ghost reveal that in less than 24 hours Liz would die in your hand, turn to 98. 98 in brackets 427. As you sit there pondering how you're going to try and convince your fiance not to step foot in the house tonight, a child and a mother enter the cafe. It doesn't take you long to realise it's the same child who originally dropped off his ice cream. It then occurs to you if you can stop this from happening, you'll be able to prove the future can be changed. Roll one die, you may add up to 2 TTP to ensure the roll is higher. You roll 5 or over 303. If you roll less than 5, 34. Or you can use future knowledge A. I don't have future knowledge A, so let's roll the dice. Okay, it was low. Not going to use TTP, so we just turn to 34. 34 brackets 98. Whether you tried or not to stop it, the kid trips and drops his ice cream. You attempted to laugh again, but you stop yourself. As the mother helps the boy get to his feet, you notice his shoelaces are untied. This gains us future knowledge A plus 13, so we're going to write that down on our sheet. Turn to 147. 147, 98 times 2 in brackets. Your attention now turns to the drunks, who will soon be giving the waitress a particularly hard time when she comes over to serve them. Perhaps this is another opportunity to intervene. You can use future knowledge B. We don't have that yet. All we can do is turn to 279. 279 in brackets 147. As the waitress goes to take your order of the drinks, you notice one of them is being a little bit too tactile for your liking. What's a nice girl like you doing work in a place like this? One of them says as he squeezes her from behind. Could you please get your hands off me? He says. Oh, it's only being friendly. Don't want the attention. She dressed like that. If you decide to help her by shouting over 313, if you choose not to do anything and leave when Liz returns to 470. Now, last time we didn't interact with them, this time we are, because I want to do as much as possible to change the future and keep Liz alive. So let's turn to 313. 313 in brackets 147 times 2. Hey you shout, get your damn hands off her. And I'm laughing because I know that reference. I want to see if the book acknowledges that reference. If you know what that reference is, leave a comment down below with who the character is and what film they were from. Unfortunately, your heroic attempt at using a film reference from an old 80s movie does little more than anger the drunks, who get to their feet and walk over to you. Or what? You realise you hadn't completely thought this through. Or, as you bravely get to your feet, I'll make your face how it isn't now. To this they laugh, and then one of them throws a punch and knocks you back onto the table. That's for interfering in my business, says the drunk. Okay, out, shouts the owner. I don't tolerate that kind of behaviour in my place. After the drunks have shown the door, Liz returns to find you with a big shiner. You tell her what has transpired and she is not happy. You took a chance like that. Not long after this, you both leave. FK B plus 10, so that's right, B plus 10. Turn to 470. 470, 147 times 2 in brackets. Upon leaving the cafe, you wonder if you can use this opportunity of looking around. If you can use this opportunity of looking around town to find anything that can help you prevent the events that will transpire that evening. You consider that you may be able to find a useful book in the bookshop, or perhaps some kind of artifact from the jewellery shop to ward off spirits. So I'm looking at the bookshop 484, jewellery shop 338. Last time we did the bookshop, so this time I'm going to do everything I can to change it, hopefully change the outcome. Let's go to the jewellery shop. That's what Liz wanted. So let's turn to 338. 338 in brackets 470. Upon entering the jewellery shop, the strong aroma of incense wafts up to your nostrils, and you find yourself looking upon shelves filled with trinkets, precious stones, and various artifacts. One in particular catches Liz's attention. It's an amethyst beaded necklace. After trying it on, she looks towards you for approval. What do you think? It's nice. I'd buy it, but I'd spent the last of my money on that toll bridge we went over. You realise she's hinting at you to buy it for her. You purchased the necklace as a present for your fiancé, 241, Choose not to, 28286, or you can use Future Knowledge D. I don't have Future Knowledge D, I'm going to buy it for her, because last time I was playing it like a dick, now I'm going to play it like he's a different born again man, a new man. So 241. 241 brackets 338. After Liz puts down the necklace disappointedly, you wait until she is looking at something else and then sneakily take it to the till. Unfortunately, it costs you all the money in your wallet, but you believe it's worth it after the look of sheer joy you see on her face when you give it to her outside. Turn to 286. 286 in brackets 470 times 2. After returning to the car, you consider telling Liz about your premonition, but you stop yourself. She wouldn't believe you and would not be so easily convinced to cancel the deal for the house and look for somewhere else. You wonder if that's enough reason to risk her life when you know what awaits you at the house. But right now you can't think of a way to stop her from setting foot outside that would not ruin your relationship. Setting foot inside that would not ruin your relationship. Then a thought comes to you. The whole incident with the ghost did not occur until later that night, which means even if you do go to the house, there is still time to convince her to leave. At that end, you decide to go to the house. Like before, you find that it has not been cleaned, and like before, the removal van calls to tell you they won't be able to deliver things till the following day. Upon hearing this, you realise the opportunity has presented itself. Last time this happened, you decided to stay at the house for the night, but perhaps this time you can convince Liz to stay at a hotel. You notice one on the drive on the way here. Even if you stay somewhere else, you could just be putting off the inevitable, but it will buy us more time to think of a more permanent solution. Yes, that's great thinking. If you stay at the house, 447, nope. If you stay at the hotel, 304, yes. Or you can use Future Knowledge E. We don't have that yet, so let's stay at the hotel and try and keep Liz alive. 304 brackets 286. Oh, I'd love nothing more than spend a night at a hotel, says Liz approvingly. But do you have enough money to pay for it? Drat. I don't, do I? If you paid for jewellery, you must stay at the house. 447. If you did not pay for jewellery, turn to 68. Drat, I paid for jewellery. So we are staying at the house. It's inevitable. We are going to 447. But hopefully, maybe we've done enough. The things will transpire differently. 447 in brackets 286. Choosing to stay at the house again, you do everything differently. Good, that's what I've been doing. After going to bed, you lie awake all night, hoping you'll be able to catch Liz as soon as she gets out of bed. Unfortunately, whether it's down to tiredness or something more sinister, you still fall asleep and wake to find Liz is not in her bed. Panicking, you quickly run into the hall, taking a different direction to the last time and keeping an eye out for the shadowy figure that possessed you. Soon you find Liz and you're about to go over to her when the black figure once again appears and takes you over. You know what is to come and desperately will it not to be so. And then if by magic you find yourself back at the cafe, turn to 427. So we are back at 427. I won't read it all again because it's the same as last time. You need to sign here, you need to sign there. Uncle Liz. Little do you know it's actually true. Furthermore, turn to 352. We don't need to do that. We've got the rules. We've gone into a nice time loop. And so there's only one thing to do, and that's turn to page 98. Page 98, passage 98. What I'll do now is I probably won't read them word for word again. Okay, we got a chance to do something now. So this is where 98 427 brackets we watch the mother and kid come in. We can roll the dice. Let's roll another dice. Okay, we are still low. I can use TTP, but I do this time have Future Knowledge A. So let's put that to use, shall we? Let's use Future Knowledge A. So that is 98 plus 13. Which gives us 111. So we can turn to 111 and use this future knowledge to make a change to this event, a bigger change than we did before. So 111 in brackets 98. As soon as you see the mother and son enter, you shout over, "Hey kid, you might want to tie up your shoelaces unless you want to lose that ice cream." You do as the man says, the mother tells him, and she smiles at you. "Thank you for that." "No problem," you say. Saving a kid's ice cream might not be a big deal, but it's proof that you can change the past. Tip: Sometimes the solution to the problem requires you to allow an event to play out. As long as you learn the necessary future knowledge to travel back and try a different approach. Bear in mind you will not always be told this, so it's up to you when to use your initiative and when to think an opportunity presents itself. 147, we are on a roll. 147 brackets 98 times 2. This is where we turn our attention back to the drunks that will soon be harassing a waitress. We can either turn to 279 to get punched, big corny, or we can use future knowledge B. We are on 147, future knowledge B is plus 10, so that's 157. 157 in brackets 147. Remembering that interfering results in you receiving a black eye. You try and prevent the waitress from even having to serve the drunks in the first place. Roll 1 die. You may add up to 2 TTP to ensure the roll is higher. If you roll 5 or over, 347. If less than 5, you miss your opportunity to help and have to wait for Liz to turn to 447. So let's roll the die. Okay, we got over 5, so let's turn to 373. 373 in brackets 157. Quickly, you pick up your tray with your unfinished food on and make out as if you accidentally collided with a waitress, spilling your tray down her front. Better than getting harassed, I guess. I'm sorry, you say. It's alright, she says. I'm used to it. Let me help, you offer. No, it's okay. I got this. You can go about your own business. As you walk away, you notice the manager has seen this incident, and seeing that these waitresses is currently indisposed, he goes to serve the drunks himself. Congratulations, you have saved the girl from a very uncomfortable situation. Not long after this, Liz returns to the toilet and you both leave. Tip: sometimes solution to a problem may include going through with an action that may seem foolish and dangerous at the time. This is the only way to get the right future knowledge to help. This is the only way to get the right future knowledge to help prevent and reverse time again. Bear in mind that the ability to reverse time in most decisions can be undone, so feel free to take a risk as well. Turn to 470. Okay, so we're back at 470, 147 times 2. Again, our choice is we can go to the bookshop or go to the jewelry shop. Now, this is the same option we had before, but there's no future knowledge yet here. We went to the jewelry shop last time, so we played that path. I don't think we could be in a loop that way. So let's go to the bookshop. Perhaps now, at this point, we've been to the bookshop before, but not at this point. So let's go to the bookshop now. 484 in brackets 470. The bookshop is crammed with books on shelves and in piles on the floor. There is barely any room to walk around. While Liz moves off in the corner of the shop to look at books on art and textiles, you take the opportunity to look around for books on ghosts and paranormal. So this is different to last time. Last time Liz went off to look at books, we just did our own thing. Whereas this time, books on ghosts and paranormal. After looking at one particular book called Mysteries of the Unknown, you find an interesting article. Whereas many believe it is true that some ghosts could possess the living, there are some cultures that believe that certain amulets can prevent this from happening. One such amulet is the amulet of Teraka, as shown in the diagram below. This gives us future knowledge D plus 10, so let's note that down. We have D plus 10, so that is handy. You were considering reading more when Liz comes over to join you. Mysteries of the Unknown, she says, reading over your shoulder. I didn't know that you were into this sort of thing. I'm not, you say as you close the book abruptly. This caught my eye. You decide to leave, and before she starts to get suspicious. 286, turn to 286. Okay, this is good. We're on a different path. 286 we've done before. This is where we're contemplating going over things. We can choose to stay at the house, the hotel, or future knowledge E. We still don't have future knowledge E, but I didn't go to the jewelry shop, which means I've got cash in my pocket. So we can go to a hotel this time. 304, and 304, we've been here before. We pay for jewelry. We have not paid for jewelry, so we can go to 68. Yes, I feel we're getting somewhere. Okay, this is good. 68 in brackets 304. Thankfully, you find you're able to afford a night in a hotel and drive over there. The manager, a thin balding man with a raggedy beard, greets you as you enter and gives you the room key. The room is not worth the price you paid for it, but it doesn't bother you. Because you are happy not to be spending the night in the house. You soon fall asleep, but feel a sense of deja vu as you awake to find that Liz is not by your side. You assume that this is a mere coincidence and that she has simply got up to use the toilet. Upon checking, you realise she is not there. You get dressed and have a look around the hotel, thinking she might be wandering around, but she is nowhere to be seen. By this time, you're starting to panic, and you talk to the manager, hoping that he may have seen her. Yeah, I did see her, he says. She's acting kind of weird, kind of drowsy, that she was not all there. When I saw her wandering outside, I asked her what she was going on and where she was going. I don't know why I dropped into an American accent then. I apologise, I'll stop it. Going home, you say, surprised. You can notice if she took the car. No, she left on foot. Walking in which direction? North. Towards Craven Manor. Yeah, that's right. Hearing this, you run straight to the car and drive over to the new house. You find the door wide open. Inside, you find Liz standing in the hall. Relieved to see her safe, you run over and take her in her arms. Closing your eyes and embrace her. Thank God you're okay, you say. Come on, we need to get out of here. There's something wrong with this house. You were about to leave before you notice Liz doesn't seem to be moving. Liz, come on. We don't have time for this. As you pull away, you hear a sickening squelching sound and look down to see the bloody knife in your hand you've just removed from your fiance's bleeding stomach. For a moment, she looks shocked at you. Dave, she says, a sound of betrayal in her voice. Why did you? I didn't, you say. It wasn't me. You were about to fall back when you managed to catch her, lower to the ground softly. She breathes her last breath and you feel your heart breaking all over again. Why? She screams into the heavens. Why? You scream into the heavens. Why send me back if there's nothing I can do to stop this? What more can I do? You've given me another chance. It can't end like this. You then close your eyes and concentrate on the cafe in all hopes that the day will reverse and you'll have another chance to get it right. And luck would have it, it does turn to 427. Okay, we're back at 427. We've got one more bit of future knowledge D. So let's see what this can do. With D, I'm going to use my future knowledge A, which takes us to 111. 111. That we stop the boy dropping his ice cream, turn to 147. I'm sort of speedrunning this a bit for you. This is where we're going to deal with the drunks and do 157. This is where we roll one die. Okay, we got over the amount, so yeah, that's where I knock a trade down to about 470. Now here's where we can potentially do something differently, because last time we went to the bookshop. This time we can go to the jewelry shop because we see if they've got that amulet. They might have that amulet. Let's hope they got that amulet. So this time we're going to go back to the jewelry shop, which is 338. We have been to 338 before, but now we've got future knowledge. So, and then in the jewelry shop, strong aroma of incense. Our choices are purchase a necklace from our fiance. We've done that. We've never chosen not to. But I think we're just going to be in that loop where we go to our hotel and it will happen again. But what we do have is future knowledge D. So that is plus 10. So that's going to be 348. 348 in brackets 338. You are considering buying the necklace for Liz when an amulet hanging behind the till catches your eye. At first you are not quite sure why it seems so significant to you. Then you remember the picture in the book regarding the ghosts and possessions that showed you a very similar amulet. Wondering if this might not be the thing you need to prevent your possession, you waste no time in purchasing it. Future knowledge E78. Now we've already seen that play out where minus 78. It's a minus 78. So we've already seen that an E has happened. I can't remember where. But we are now going to turn to 286. 286 brackets 470 times 2. We've been here multiple times and this is where we have future E. Okay, so if we stay at the house, we can stay at a hotel or we can use our future knowledge E. Okay, so it's 286 minus 78. That is going to be 208. It's good for maths as well, this book. So 208 in brackets 286. I feel like we're making really good progress. I feel like I'm going to be almost stopping this as well, so I feel like this video's gone for enough. But let's have a read on a bit. I'm really enjoying this. Hoping that's coming across, because I actually want to carry on playing and reading this for you. Rather than leave the house, you decide to give the amulet you bought in the jewelry shop and try and wear it throughout the night. Like before you go to bed, and like before you wake up to find Liz not beside you. Only this time, rather than encounter the dark spirit on your way to find her, nothing happens. It seems like the amulet actually worked. Great, you think to yourself. Now all I have to do is find Liz and get out of here. You start to search around the house to find her standing in the centre of the living room with her back to you. Liz, it's me, you say. When she turns around to face you, you do not recognise the eye staring back at you or understand what she says. And here in the book, it's more sort of gibberish. I'm hoping at one point we'll be able to understand that. So hopefully that's going to be on screen now. Whatever has hold of you, you need to fight it, you say, and you take her hand. Maybe if you can get out of this house. Maybe I can get you out of this house. You attempt to take her to the front door, but an invisible force stops you from going any further. The spirit inside her appears to be trapped in this house, and since you has chosen her to be the host, it means that she can't leave either. Look, whatever you are, please let my Liz go, you say. I'll do whatever you want. The possessed Liz repeats what was previously said. I'm sorry, I don't understand you. What does it all mean? But before she can explain anything, she collapses. After checking her pulse, you find her heart is beating normally, and you decide to bring her into the living room and lay her down on the couch. You know there is no way the spirit inside is going to let her go, so you need to try and figure out what it wants. You sense the possessed Liz's strange words may be the key to that. They may not make sense now, but perhaps you can discover a way to read them in the future. Yes. You should take a note of this passage to return to decipher it at any one time. So we're going to make a note of 208. Until you find a way to read it, you believe the best use of your time will be exploring the house to find clues and explain who this spirit may be. From this point on, you have free reign of the house. Turn to 13. Okay, and what I was going to do is probably play it a bit more, but I think I've given you a good taste of what it is. What happens now is we are in Craven Manor, modern day, and it becomes a bit of a sandbox at this point where we're in the house and we can explore the house. At this point, it says we can check 3 rooms before we turn to another passage. So let me just quickly read this. Below is a list of rooms you can explore at any time throughout your adventure. You can go to any one of these rooms as many times as you like, but there must be sure to keep a note of the shortcuts when they are given to you. This will allow you to return to the passage where you were before you left the room, so you can return without having to go back over things you've already done. You'll also be told to find if a room has been completed. When this happens, you should make a note of that when you go there. This can be the only room. So yeah, so we have a list of things. So there is a ground floor, upstairs, and a garden that we can turn to. So I'm just going to perhaps explore the kitchen and end this here. I don't want to give too much away. It's very difficult reviewing a book. You don't know how much to give away, how many spoilers we're going to do. So we turn to 262. The kitchen is probably the most modern looking room in the house. It is not without its flaws. The tea-stained counters, slimy draining board, and curling linoleum floor leave much to be desired, as well as the sinister humming of the fridge. As you explore the room, your attention is drawn to a clicking noise coming from the garbage disposal. At first you ignore it, but when it starts to grow louder, you decide to investigate. As you look down the hole, you notice a glint of silver coming from below. Something is stuck down there. It could quite possibly be useful. Put your hand in the garbage disposal for the silver object 56. You have future knowledge C. Otherwise, we can return to explore the house. Turn to 13. So, again, I love this sandbox, really open. We don't have knowledge C. Don't really want to go back to the house. Let's, we don't come here for no reason. Let's go to 56. Worst that could happen. 56 in brackets 262. As you lower your hand in the garbage disposal to try and get the silver object, you find that it's just out of your reach. So you put your whole forearm in. You've just gotten hold of the object and it feels like an old key. That could be useful with a hole in the top. When to your horror you hear the motor start and feel the most excruciating pain as the rotary blades begin to shred your arm to pieces. You cry out as if in agony and quickly try to pull your hand out, but it's too late. Your hand is gone. All that is left is a mangled, bleeding stump. You fall to the ground, feeling you will soon pass out and die on the kitchen floor. Future knowledge C -207. Make a note of that. Unless you can reverse time, I'm afraid your journey ends here. So I think we will reverse time because I can spend 2 time points and we can go back, spend those 2 and go back to 262. Tested out that rule, which we haven't done yet. We've done a lot of future knowledge. Let's use some time jumping. 262, so we are back in the kitchen. We can go back into the hallway to 13, or we can now use our future knowledge of 207, -207. Sorry, my handwriting is dreadful. So 262 -207. Yeah, if I've written this down right, is 55. So we can use that to see what's what and hopefully not get our arm mangled into a bleeding stump. Okay, so 55. Remembering the object is a key and not wanting to mangle your arm again, you realise what you will need is to make a device to hook into the hole and pull it up. You will need 2 objects for this. When you find both objects, mark down the numbers of the rooms you found them in, and then take the smaller number away from the larger. This will result in the number you need to turn in order to use them. Oh, clever. I can't just hack at this and go, oh, I've got the 2 objects to turn to. You can now return to the house 13. If you return to the house, mark down the number of the passage as a shortcut to the kitchen. You return to that, so I can this is the shortcut. So shortcut, I write down on the sheet kitchen 55. So that means instead of turning when I'm in 13 to the normal kitchen passage, I turn to 55 and I can jump to this passage here. Allow me to sort of shortcut it once I've got the items. Return to 13. So as you can see, this now turns into a sandbox I can explore around, and I think that is where we'll leave it. That's given us a good taste of the spookiness of the book, the rules of the book, how it's planned out, how it's reading. And whilst we didn't explore Craven Manor in this video review playthrough, we are open up. If you are interested in me playing more of this, let me know in the comments down below and I will carry on from 13 from this point onwards, perhaps trying to practice reading out loud better because I'm terrible at that. I apologise for that. So what do I think? I think what I think comes across in this playthrough. I was loving playing this. I hope that comes across when I have been playing it. Just wanted to get more, and it was intriguing, that whole initial aspect. You know, the character's dick at first, then you realise you can change that. The creepiness of that ghost and the horror of stabbing your loved one, trying to go over that like a Groundhog Day, trying to prevent it and trying all different things. That's fun as hay. All that using the future knowledge to take different paths with knowing what's going to happen. And then that time jump there as well, using time jump to go back in time once I've mangled my hands, and it all being baked into the rules. Yeah, this is highly recommended. I am going to be definitely playing more than this. There are other volumes as well, other books that you can check out. If you're interested in playing, I'll leave a link to it in the description. There are some free samples, some free PDF samples on Drive-Thru-RPG. I will link them in the description down below. I'll probably pin a comment for them. But yeah, well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on playing. If you want to know more about this and play through with me, let me know in the comments. But for now, I'm off to play this highly enjoyable book. So until the next video, guys, and enjoy your Halloween. Stay safe. Take care. Bye 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 bye.